Ahoy and Merry Christmas. This is my Sea of Thieves story. Instead of just one example of something cool that happened, I'm going to tell my story of how Sea of Thieves has affected my life. Um, I've been a big pirate fan since I was a little kid, always liked pirates. My love for pirates really blossomed when I saw the Pirates of the Caribbean movies came out. It really kind of took it to a next level. And back then there was a game on PC, Pirates of the Caribbean Online, and I dabbled with it, but I've never been a PC gamer. I've always really was like, it'd be cool to have some kind of big MMO pirate game on consoles. And uh, and so E3 rolls around, what 4 years ago or so, and we get this little tease of a pirate game on Xbox, and it's like, wait, what is this? What could this be? And as we learn more, I'm like, well, this is exactly what I've wanted. This is my dream game. And so then they talk about alpha testers and that they're going to let people in the community. I was like, well, I've never really done this. I've done some betas before, but I've never really been like an alpha tester. This sounds awesome. So I tried very hard to get into that first thing. Unfortunately, I was unsuccessful. That was March 26. No, I'm sorry, not March. December 2016, I think, is when the first wave of alpha testers rolled. I think it was only 1 or 2 thousand people. But I got in on either wave 2 or 3 of, I want to say it was March 4th, 2017. And I was very happy to get into that. I made sure to take off and stuff because for the alpha testers, we didn't get to just hop on whenever we wanted. It was at first it was once a month, or maybe not even once a month. Maybe it might have even been more spread out than that. It was a very rare occasion to be able to play the game, and you would only be able to play it for a few hours. So it was so limited, but I got on. I was very excited. I played it. I loved it. And as the months would roll through, I had a lot of fun. We saw a lot of changes. I had a lot of fun. One of the things, and I really hope that they actually end up having special events where we can make certain things more similar to the alpha days. For example, it was a lot of fun to have unlimited cannonballs and not have cannonballs be a physical item, just have them in the cannons at all times and you're just shooting away. Um, that was really fun. And you would have some crazy battles. They'd be long because no one has to worry about supplies. Um, and so it was a really long fight, but it was really fun to just keep doing that. So I hope they do special events like that. But so that was really cool. And seeing the game evolve, seeing going from the factions, for example, as you can see from my face paint. Let's see if you can even see that. So there's my face paint. Gold hoarders are my favorite of the factions, and seeing those evolve. At first it was all just this one person at an outpost. It wasn't different named people with different characters of different. They weren't people in a faction. They were, this is a person, as if that person is the faction, if that makes any sense. But seeing all that evolve and really getting into like some lore and background of those. As you can see behind me, I displayed let me do a little introduction there. So I've got my Chest of Sorrows, my all-time favorite cursed chest. Um, and then we've got my books, my Tales of the Sea of Thieves, the comics, the Athena's Fortune. I've got my controller there. I've got like the Tataku figure and stuff. I don't have them displayed here right now, but but yeah. So I love the Gold Hoarders and seeing those evolve. A game back when there was no bullet drop. And there wasn't a sniper, but you didn't need a sniper because you could just shoot a pistol and it'd go for miles, and you could get these crazy shots because the bullet just went. So that was really fun. But seeing that change, and I appreciate the change because bullet drop, it makes much more sense. Um, Seeing that stuff happen, one of my, having these little events too, and then also being able for it to become more and more of a common thing instead of like once every couple months or whatever. Then it would start to become like once a month, and then like twice a month, and so on. And toward it was Gamescom of 2017. This was really really cool, and we haven't seen it since, something like it since, and I'm hoping that Rare does something like this in the future. They took riddles to a new level. I was a little upset because without like a printer or without really cool good like tools on your computer, you were not going to be able to do this riddle. But Gamescom had a riddle, and they basically, and some of you guys have seen these skulls with the keys on there scattered around the world. They're hard to find, but those actually were part of the Gamescom riddle, and you had to basically find them all. You didn't know where they were. You just knew they were kind of like in caves, and even that you had to figure out. And then you find them all, and then you got to pinpoint. Then you got to like cross reference them, and you got to like draw on a map and figure out where they all meet. And then once you get there, then like 100 feet under the water was this shipwreck, and in it was I can't remember the name. And you've never seen this if you haven't played the alpha. It was the third cursed chest. It was a chest of sorrows, but it was a woman's face, and it was something a higher tier of a chest of sorrows, and it was non-stop crying. And there was, if I'm not mistaken, there was 9 of them in this sunken ship, and they were worth a good amount of money. And back in the alpha days, getting money was not an easy thing, not nearly as easy as it is now. So you'd have all these, but then word got out on the forums and stuff that okay, this is where it is and everything. So then you'd have all these people knowing and looking for it. I remember getting all of them on, and at this point we only have galleons. We don't have sloops or brigantines. And I remember we got them all on the galleon, and I don't remember why, but my team, we were getting chased. We were getting chased by another ship, and I don't remember why, but my team was off the ship. Either they died, or I think they were trying to fight the other ship. I might not have even had a full crew, but I remember I had to solo sail this galleon. Wow, 9. I think we had all 9. We might not have had all 9, but we had at least 5 of these non-stop crying chests on the galleon, and I had to solo sail it while bailing and just crash into the outpost so that I could get these off in time. And my team must have been on their ship or something. I can't remember what, but that was a really cool experience. But solving that riddle was that was I'm gonna call that comparable to like a Destiny raid. Like that when you're playing Destiny and then for the first time you find the Vault of Glass, and there's so much you got to learn, and you don't know anything. And there's no clues. You just got to be like, okay, well this kills me. That's kind of what this was like. It's like we had a very vague riddle. I don't know if that's ever been shown or anything, but it was very vague, and you had to figure it out, and you didn't know exactly what you were doing. You just had to try. I personally did not figure it out. I ended up finding it on the forums. I had tried to figure some out, and we had found some of the skulls with keys, but it was so hard. But that was really cool. So that was the Gamescom experience. That was really really fun. And then that was kind of the highlight of the alphas. And then we start getting around the next December time, and now we're talking about betas and stuff. And another huge highlight for me, and this was the closest thing I've ever gotten to my 15 minutes of fame, was I should have double checked this before this video, but I made a YouTube video in the beta of me swimming across the ocean because that's something I wanted to do, but I wanted to be able to record it. And before the beta, we had never had the ability to record anything. We were not allowed, NDA. So I wanted to record me swimming across the ocean. I'm not gonna lie, it's in my attempt to get my name into this game. I am super jealous, in a good way, of all of the community members who have done something, and they actually have their name like etched into the door frame of the Ferry of the Damned, or on a rock or something. Is like they've got their gamer tag in this game because they've done something to be a cool community member, and I think that's so awesome. So this was my attempt, my first big attempt to try to do that, and so it took me. I had I had a crew of people who had not played the alpha before, so this was their. They may have put in an hour of this game beforehand. And so I swam all the way from the very west of the map all the way to the very east. And my rule was, no taking the boat. If I get eaten by sharks, the boat. I had a boat. Our galleon was swimming alongside, so for respawn purposes. And so if I died, the galleon had to drop anchor, and then we would start, so that I didn't, cheat. And so it took me 2.5 hours to do this, and I got a shout out from Craig Duncan, and this was a video that was talked about in a good handful of articles, like IGN and stuff even had this discussion, thanks to the Craig and the dev team who all mentioned my video, not knowing who I really was, honestly. I'm still not sure if Craig realizes that was my video, but it was cool. I got this shout out, and then me being a nobody on the internet, I had I broke 100,000 views or 1,000 views. I don't remember. I had so many views, and someone shouted out to me. It's like, hey, your video was mentioned on IGN's video, and I was like, what? Really? That was really cool. So that was my first experience into like being part of this community and being mentioned as part of this community, and that was definitely one of my highlights of ever in video games. Um, so that's really cool. And then there's also like I've done a couple Comic Cons with them, and I've seen the team, and I'm gonna go to PAX in this March, PAX East, and fingers are crossed that Craig might show because I have not met Craig yet. I've seen Joe and Mike and a few other people, Shelly and a few others. Um, and so that's kind of actually where this is from. I did this. This was last year, and same thing with the chest. I brought the chest I made 2 years ago, so I've had that for 2 years. And then I wanted to do Gold Hoarder stuff because they're my favorite faction. So I wanted to up it up a little bit for this last Comic Con, and I'll do this again probably at PAX. But so it's really cool to be able to meet the dev team and stuff. I've never really been able to do that with video games. I've never met the makers. I've never, and because of how open and transparent the Sea of Thieves, the whole team is, you feel like you know them. Even if you don't meet them at Comic Con or anything, like you feel like you could have a conversation with them, and you wouldn't feel like you met them for the first time. Um, which is another really cool. I love how transparent the Rare team is. They always talk to everybody about what's going on, what they're working on. If they make a mistake, they own up to it, and they're like, hey, we made a mistake. We're gonna do this to fix it. Hopefully, we'll have it out by this time. So it's really cool, and you get this real family sense with this group. Um, Another another really cool experience I had. One of my highlights of this one's more of a typical tavern tale, I guess. So it was the first. It might have actually still been the beta. I was playing with on a galleon with two other friends. So We only had three of us on a galleon, and it was their first day. I don't. They didn't have much experience. It was their first day, and luckily, though, because I had been in the alpha for so long, I was vastly superior to most people playing the game. And so we had gotten a bunch of gold, and we were getting chased by a ship, and we couldn't lose them. I tried losing them for at least 30 minutes. They were staying on us, and because I had not an insult, but an incompetent crew at the time, we weren't able to lose them. So I see a storm, and I'm like, all right, you guys are going to need to really listen to me, do exactly what I say. I had them turn all the lights off of the galleon. We went right for the storm, and they were getting close behind us at this point too. They were catching on us, and so we were behind. We got into the storm, and I got us into like the heart. You couldn't see more than 10 feet out, and when I knew that they couldn't see us, but they had an idea of the general direction we were going, I turned the wheel all the way to the left. I said, drop the anchor. We did a handbrake turn. Both you guys raise the anchor as fast as possible. I had to stay on the wheel, and I managed to get us to do a U-turn and swing out of there. And we swung back around, and we were able to deposit it. And as we were at the outpost, we see them coming back out of the storm at this point. Finally, they're coming out of the storm. And it was such a great experience because it's like, yeah, I outsmarted you. And that's why I love it, because you don't have a weapon advantage in Sea of Thieves. Everyone's on an equal playing field. No one's got a better gun. But if you have experience, if you know the maps, if you know strategies, you can be better than people. And that's what I really love. And that's what I hope to be better at with the Sea of Thieves arena mode. We'll see how that goes. And then the last story I'm going to tell is my island getaway. And this was back in the alpha days. And a ship was on the same island. I don't remember why, but a ship was on the same island as us. And they had been attacking us, I think, for a while, actually. And I had seen that they had, I was on the island. We were looking for treasure. And somehow we met. But I went and I snuck aboard their ship, and I saw they had I think it was the chest of 1,000 grogs. It was a good chest, and I took that and I jumped off with it. It might have just been a captain's chest, but still, I took it. I jumped, and remember, alpha testing was a captain's chest is huge. Alpha test, remember, it's not easy to get money. So I took it and jumped off, and I went onto the island. And the island was Wanderer's Refuge. I remember that. And so I took it, I hid it in a bush, and I just waited and watched. And I saw them take off, and then I saw them like drop the anchor and sit there for a little bit. And then they started coming back around towards the island and kind of circled the island. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, they're looking for me. And at this point, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they had just sunk our ship, and I was on the island. They had sunk our ship, and that's why I snuck aboard. And so I was on the comms with my guys. I was like, all right, guys, they're looking for me. I need you to get back over here. And so it was really fun to just be super sneaky, and I stole their chest, and then my team was able to come pick me up, and then we scored it. So that was really fun. I mean, there's countless amazing tales, but the point is, it's really fun, and I'm really happy with the way this game has turned out, and I'm really, really happy with the way the game is evolving. The Megalodon, the Forsaken Shores, the volcanoes, this Shroud of Spoils. Not even like the fog is really cool. Don't get me wrong, that's awesome, very atmospheric. But now we've got more active skull forts. Now we've got more active Megs and Krakens. Like, there's so much more life in the game now. I'm really happy with it, and I'm really looking forward to what we have. We know about arenas. We still don't have our pets yet. We'll see where that goes. I personally really want two things. I want more to do with mermaids. I feel like those are an undervalued asset to the game. We don't know anything about mermaids. There's ruins under the water that look really cool. There's the mermaid statues, and then there's mermaids that teleport you back to your ship. But I want to know more about that. So I really hope that we get to explore mermaids. And then I also really hope I want a giant crab just throw it in one of those caves under the water, just like a boss battle. I think that'd be really cool. But anyway, Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you have a good holiday break, and I look forward to seeing what the Rare team brings us in the future. 2019 is going to be a big year for Xbox. Big year. Have a good day, guys.